We go. Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classic, known classic. This episode number 2721 and Doubleshot number 2615. First, we're going to discuss some Marvel 2-in-1. We're going to discuss basically an essential book, Volume 4, plus a couple issues that could be printed. Well, one has technically printed, but I haven't discussed it. I'll discuss it in a moment. Another one has not been printed just yet. The specific date. Marvel did get a license to publish the reprints for this book. And, of course, the penultimate trade for Outsiders Volume 3. Yep, first we're discussing Marvel 2-in-1 issue 21. That for a long time, Marvel could not legally collect this issue in trade until it was collected in Marvel Masterworks Marvel 2-in Volume 3. The reason why, of course, because we have the Thing team up with Doc Savage. Yes, this issue is written by Bill Mansell, artwork by Ron Wilson. Yes, the other book I'm going to talk about is also written by Bill Mansell, artwork by Ron Wilson. Yes, the Marvel version of Doc Savage is not memorable for a lot of people who are fans of Doc Savage, because this is one of two comics appeared outside of two miniseries, because his time at Marvel was very, very brief. Like, what did Marvel do with the character? Appeared in two 4-issue miniseries, this book, and Giant Size Spider-Man number 3, I think it was, and that was it. Mostly put, you have just the Thing team with Doc Savage, who's basically just in present day. Actually, a bit of time traveling. Of course, you have debut of a character named the Black Sun, which, here's the thing about this guy. This guy is canon in the Marvel comic. Marvel doesn't write this character, but not Doc Savage himself. This guy will continually appear on comics, even after this issue, as a recurring villain Marvel 2-1. He got killed off in the issue of Scarlet Supreme by James Robertson. But a really fun issue. And I'm glad it was finally collected in trade, but now the next one here is basically an issue that I know can be put in trade now thanks to a new license Marvel has with Hasbro. That being issue 99, where the Thing teams up with Rom, the Space Knight. Now, this book, for the longest time, could not be collected in trade because of Marvel would not have a license to publish them. But recently, I think it was last year, that Marvel had finally got a chance to get the license to reprint this issue. Yes. Yes, they can. Oh, by the way, in the case of Rom, for him, this issue for him, publication-wise, comes after his appearance in Contest of Champions, which that has been collected in trade. I think is more like a cameo per se, but his experience at this issue back in Rom. Yeah. Which Marvel was released, and the omnibus for that one is no one coming really soon. This mostly put just the Thing just happened to. By the way, this one's on by Bob Hall, not Bill Mansell does write this issue. This issue's mostly put just the Thing at the back spilling just by himself. Power outage, and he just happens to run into Rom the space, and he just happens to fall from the ceiling. Patch up with friends. Battles a guy with fire. And that's pretty much it. That's all to really discuss here per se. Also, the Thing briefly turned back normal, and then he goes back to be the Thing. And then that's issue 99 for you. So, I gotta admit, two fun issues. Love them. I give them both a 10 out of 10. Next up, now I don't own this book per se. I never got a chance to buy this. But I do own the first 3 volumes. And the reason why I picked this one next, now I thought basically I did not review Marvel 2 before, except for some issues. It turns out I have. I did a little research. I have reviewed this before. You kind of have to look it up. I reviewed this like several years ago. We next have Essential Marvel 2 Presents The Thing Volume 4. This collects for Marvel 2-in-1 issues number 78 to 98, 100, which is the final issue of the series, and annual 6 and 7. The writers mostly put these people: Tom DeFalco, Dan Michelini, Doug Mohawk, who does the annual. Mostly put Tom DeFalco, and then he does from issue 78 till issue number 93. And then you have David Croft. He doesn't come back for the annual in number 7. David Croft takes over in 94 and 95. Actually, no. So, Tom DeFalco does issue 78 through 80. He skips 80. Basically, he does not do. So pretty much he does up until issue 87. He leaves. Have David Croft does issues 80, 89. 90 is Jaron Saran. Tom DeFalco. Let's come back for 91 and 92. Damon Cellini does basically 98, and the final issue is done by John Byrne. The artwork, Ron Wilson, who does basically 78. He does the annual, and he pretty much is the interior artist for pretty much the majority of the rest of the run. The only issues he does not do issue 88 or 89 or 90, but he does come back for 91, and he's here up until the final issue, and he does not do 90, 98. Now, throughout these issues, mostly put the Thing teams with various superheroes. In issue 78, he teams up with Wonder Man. Yes, Wonder Man. Where it takes on Zemu. Yes, the guy who apparently died back in 1976, who was brought back here 5 years later. Oh, by the way, the issues themselves came out from the time period of April 1981, and the final issue 100, was released in June of 1983. Yeah, we also get some issues by Alicia Masters, Franklin Richards, and the Beast. Yes, and then move on to the annual, where he teams up with the American Eagle, which is actually his debut appearance. And he basically fights his brother Ward, who dies, and Ulysses Claw. American Eagle. A Native American character who... It seems like maybe there were plans to do something with this guy, but after his debut, he pops some Contest of Champions. He did an issue Incredible Hulk, an issue Rom, had a small feature in Marcom Presents. Then he was brought back in Thunderbolts. Yes, Thunderbolts. He's very sporadic. His last known appearance was in Avengers Omega #1. I mean, his next appearance right after the annual is basically in Contest of Champions #3. He's not that big of a character. Doug Mock does the annual. We also have guest appearance by Kazar and Wyatt Wagfoot. The book itself was a lot of fun. And it's something that we introduce a brand new character, and Marvel does nothing with this guy. In 79, he teams up with the Blue Diamond. You're thinking, who the heck is the Blue Diamond? The Blue Diamond is a character from the Golden Age of comics, who, for some reason, Todd DeFalco brought back. Which, in a way, he had last appeared in Invaders 38. And then he appears in this... chronologically, I think the next time he appears was in Thunderbolts 46. Which came out in 2000. Yep, 2000. And they're there to take on Star Dancer. And... well, Star Dancer is... well... not that big of a character. Aside from this issue, her next appearance will be issue Quasar. And we also had the first appearance of Matthew Wallacott, who only appeared for this one issue. In issue number 80, we have things up with Ghost Rider. They got Monty and Phil. The Ghost Rider had last appeared in Ghost Rider 60. He next appears in issue 61. So basically, it's a gap between appearances for him. Monty and Phil, they are just one-shot hoodlums. They just happen to fight in this issue. That is most of what exactly, and of course, if it does like 4 guest appearance here, but really cool cover. At issue 81, we have Thing and Submariner versus MODOK. with guest appearance by Quasar and Giant Man. Yeah, one point, Giant Man, this is Bill Foster. At one point, he collapsed due to an experiment he was doing. Bill Foster he's a scientist at Project Pegasus. Yeah, for the last couple years of the book, Project Pegasus becomes a regular feature, like a regular location for the Marvel Comic Universe. First period issue 42 of this very book, Mark Greenwald created the organization, which they are around somewhat. They also were recurring features of the book. They were occasionally appearances outside of this book, but this was their home for a little while. But after issue 58, they disappeared for a little while, and then of course they appeared in Quasar. But this was their last appearance in the book. After this issue, they never returned to Marvel 2 because the book ended not long after this. MODOK himself last appeared in Marvel Team-Up 104, where he took on the Hulk and Quasar. By the way, this is the original MODOK, not the MODOK Spirit character. His next appearance will be the very next issue. In the case of the Submariner, his previous appearance was in the Death of Captain Marvel #1. Actually, maybe it was somebody else, but his next appearance will be in ROM. Yes, issue ROM. The very next issue, the Thing teams up with Captain America to take on MODOK and a few other thugs in a really action-packed issue. 83 teams up with Sasquatch of Alpha Flight to take on Renark the Ravager, who basically after this issue and the following issue would not appear again until when Greg Pak wrote the Alpha Flight miniseries in 2011. So yeah, he's relatively a minor Alpha Flight villain. Yeah, and of course he teams with Alpha Flight in issue 84. And we went to 85 where he teams with Spider-Woman, which her previous appearance actually was in, let's see. I think her book was still publishing at this point. Either her book was still publishing or they just ended. I'm looking up here, let's see. Yeah, this was technically the first appearance in Marvel 2-1 since issue 33. Okay, this came between issues 42 and 43 of our own comic book. They team up with, they go the Stark West, which they team up with the Whiz Kids. And no, these are not the same characters from DC. This is a completely different character. Yeah, they're characters from the Black Allied comic. And take on Atom Smash. You think, wait, Atom Smash? You mean the character from DC Comics? Nope. It's a minor villain. He's a character from Marvel, who only appeared one other time after this in Invaders Now #1. Yep. In issue 86, he has teamed with the Sandman to take on Hydra Man. And that's the opening story. The backup is basically things Frank Richards deal with the Apostle Man. Yeah, the whole thing, you think, wait, Sandman, this red villain? Well, this was during a period of time when he was reformed. He was reformed for like over a decade until he became a good bad guy again. In issue number 87, he's with Scott Lang to take on Zorak. Who was Zorak? A character who appeared in like one comic. Who apparently also appeared in Fantastic Four 16. It's like, okay, so we're having the Hulk fight, we have the Thing fight one-shot characters. In issue number 88, he teams up with She-Hulk, the Savage She-Hulk, to take on the Negator, who only appear for this one comic. And this will occasionally start a recurring thing for the Thing and the She-Hulk for years. They accuse these two occasionally of each other. 80-19, so Johnny Storm take on Atuma and the Word. Atuma is a character from She-Hulk, and I believe this comic here was her last appearance. Yeah, this is the first appearance that she appeared in the issue of She-Hulk. Yeah, this is her final appearance. And the Word. Yeah. It was She-Hulk too. And then he teams with Spider-Man for issue number 90. Spider-Man had last appeared in the issue of Dazzler. Issue 21. His next appearance would be in Marvel Team 120. You take on some night demons. And 91, this is just it's like no team up, just Tim take on the Sphinx. 92 teams with Chuck DeCosta take out Ultron. With Machine Man also being there. Yeah, it's a quick two-parter. 94 teams of Power Man and Fist take on the War Gods. In issue 95, he teams up with a living mummy, who last appeared in Contest of Champions. Yeah, his next appearance after this issue here will be an issue of Captain America, issue 361. And then came the final annual, where they have a brand new character. His name is Champion, who still appears. His next appearance will be in the first issue of the longest Silver Surfer volume to date, started by Steve Eichelhart, Silver Surfer Volume 3. He made recent appearances over the years. Like, he appeared in, like, the, I think it was Ran for Thanos, where he had a one-night stand with Nebula. Yeah, because basically he shows up here, then fights him, and he becomes a recurring character for Silver Surfer, appears in She-Hulk. He appeared in Thanos. This was the Jeff Lemire run, where basically there was chemistry between him and Nebula, and these two decide to sleep together. And she's like, "Well, this is one only time you're doing it." I'm like, "Damn, dude, you basically slept with a beautiful woman like Nebula." Yeah, she's partial cyborg, but she's hot. Yep. And in issue 96, he teams up. He does not team with anybody in this issue because he's hospitalized because of the what happened in the annual. In issue 97, he basically teams up with Iron Man, who last appeared in Vision of Scarlet Witch number 3, and his very next appearance will be in it's in the Amazing Summer Annual. And the villain of this issue is a guy named Ted Silverberg, which was only his second ever appearance and his last ever one. His last time appeared was issue 78 of this very book. He's a minor villain. And 98, Thing teams with Frank Adventures take on some weird creatures. And then in the final issue of the series, Thing teams up with an Ultra version himself, who I think last appeared in issue 50 of this book. Yeah. Yeah, and takes on some alternate versions of the same character. It's basically it's a follow-up for issue 50. That's most of what this issue is, and that's the end of the series itself. And of course, the book will be replaced with The Thing. Yes, The Thing will get a solo book not long after this by John Byrne. And that'll be their place. The book for Marvel 2 and 1 will be The Thing. Yep. Yeah, but great. This is a great book overall. I do recommend to give the book roughly a 10 out of 10. Be right back. apologies for that. I could not help it. But, yeah, Marvel 2-in-1. Yeah, as of this, I'm done reviewing Marvel 2-in-1. I've already reviewed Volume 2, so next beyond 2, The Thing. And there's a couple Thing books, basically, I'm doing replacements. So, next step we have is The Outsiders. Yes. For The Outsiders, this is quite interesting. First, discussing 2 issues of Outsiders Volume 3, because that's what we're on right now. Volume 2 is done. Volume 1 is done, so is Batman the Outsiders and Adventures of the Outsiders Volume 1. But now we're on to Volume 3, which I discussed a good chunk of this volume already. But these first 2 issues here, Outsiders, issues 26-27, known as TikTok, written by Peter D. Tomasi, artwork by Will Conrad, are the only 2 issues for this entire Outsiders book not in trade. Now, I don't really know why it's not in trade. It's mostly put a reunion of the classic Outsiders for this quick 2-part story. Roy is asked by Batman to borrow Black Lightning. Basically, the reunited Outsiders for this quick 2-part mission. And for some reason, DC chose not to put this in trade. Is it a bad story? No. It's actually really good. And this sadly put me not the last time we see Batman in the book. Batman will not return to the book until the book is almost over, when Winnick was leaving the book. Yes, these are not the only issues he writes. By the way, I give this 2-parter, which is a reunion of the classic Outsiders, basically Batman, Katana, Black Lightning, and Metamorpho. I give this 2-parter a 10 out of 10. Next up is basically an actual trade for the Outsiders. Yes. I believe it's called Crisis Interventions. Yeah, Crisis Intervention, which collect issues 29 and 33 of The Outsiders, Volume 3. Now, for these issues in particular, I do not know the reason for this. Joe Winnick technically didn't write these issues. Well, you have the opening issue per se, yes, but yeah. First, we have the Unoriginal Sins, which is the Crisis Intervention stuff. Yes. Whereas basically the Outsiders comprise at this point of Arsenal, Catherall Jr., Grace, Jade, Shift, Starfire, and Thunder. Thunder being the daughter of Black Lightning, taking on the Fearsome Five, comprised of Dr. Savannah, Jinx, Simon, Skimmer, and there's others. Deathstroke is here too. And also there's a villain that pops up in this story too. Yes. Katana is working with of course, the guest spirits with. This issue in particular would lead into. I think it was this issue in particular. Was the 31 that led into Infinite Crisis. Yeah, Katana joins the team with issue 31. But I think this issue in particular led into it. Yes. Because then we have Black Fire showing up here. And then also you have a weird demon showing up at this prison. Which basically calls the guards to each other, including members of Fearsome Five, like having Simon doing it with Shimmer and Mammoth doing it with Jinx. You're like, what? Yes, seriously. Yeah, and also 32, we have basically 2 issues not done by Joe Winnick. Yeah, this is done by Jen Von Meter, who was the wife of Greg Rucka. You're thinking, what? The wife of Greg Rucka? Yes. Seriously. This is by far the weirdest thing. Yeah. These issues in particular are kind of interesting, but also weird. By the way, the covers for these issues, I believe starting with issue 29, I think it is. Yes. Daniel Kuna does the cover art here. Yes. Who does the cover art for issues 27, 28, 26, 27. That is done by Kevin Newland. Yep. But very interesting issues per se. And this sadly put at the end of talking about issues by Joe Winner, because the last issue of this book was done by Chuck Dixon. So let's get my final thoughts on the Outsiders run by Judd Winnick. A very interesting and very strange run. This run is noteworthy of being the longest Outsiders book to date. No Outsiders book before or after this book came out ever last as long as this did. By the way, after this crossover, after this whole thing with Infant Crisis wrapped up, yeah, the Outsiders looked underground for a brief period of time. At one point, they were captured. Some members were captured by an organization led by this egghead villain, and this led to the return of Batman's group, called part of a crossover as the Insiders, with Checkmate, which sadly resulted in Joe Winnick leaving this book and Greg Rucka leaving Checkmate. Yep. That is what happened here. I don't know the reason why they left, but they did. Oh, it's called Checked Out. My mistake. It's called Checked Out. Actually, Rucka actually didn't leave this crossover. He actually left not long after this. The main villain of this crossover is a guy by the name of Chen Zhu. Yeah, I remember this. He's a Wonder Woman villain. This was a reintroduction to this. Well, he's also Egg Foo. This is a reintroduction to the guy. There's a few different ones. There's Egg Foo 5 from Earth 1. Yeah, he appeared from one issue of Wonder Woman. Then he also appeared, but it was actually part of Denny O'Neil. Then we have the traditional Egg Foo, this giant guy who appeared for 2 issues. And by the way, this character was actually brought back for Suicide Squad, believe it or not. Yeah. But the Checkmate series itself, well, Rocco will continue on into issue 25. Yeah, he would continue the book to issue 25, and then he would leave the book. Don't know why, but it's not the final issue. Nope. Yeah, the book would be taken over by Bruce Jones. I'll be discussing this some other point, but yeah, it's like the book was never the same after Rucka left. Not sure why. I never got a chance to ask him why he left the book for. Yeah, but Checkmate is definitely a series I really want to do more issues review this one. But yeah, we're discussing this. So next time, talk about the Outsiders will be 5 of a Kind. Yep, a mini storyline that led into the relaunch of Outsiders known as Batman the Outsiders, which was canned which basically Dixon was left with 10 issues. But yeah, I'm going to give Crisis Intervention a 9 out of 10. TikTok, I give it also a 9 out of 10 as well. Okay, so that's pretty much that particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do hit the dislike button. Stay tuned with my stream if I get time to for basically Blue Access. Okay, bye.